Durga, 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 Durga,
Nityanandam Paramasukhatam Kevalam Jnanamurtim Dvandvadidam Gagana Sadursham Tattvamasyadilaksham Ekam Nityam Emalamachalam Sarvadi Sakshibudam Bhavatirtham Trigunaragidam Satgurum Tam Namami. Thank you. I'd like to welcome you all for this amazing space. Thank you, Dennis, for having us over here today. Thank you very much. It's a quick introduction on the Sanskrit prayer. I'll translate what it means. What it really means is the ultimate truth in the tradition that Swamiji, Bhagavan Nityananda Parameswaram teaches is that we are all a witness. There's oneness and we are all a witness to the happening. There's no suffering, there's no identity, we don't need to struggle. That's the essence of the prayer. And we normally, when we say the prayer, I also invoke and invite Swamiji. We call him as Swamiji in a very fond way, to be here with us and also help us to anything we want to achieve. It's a divine force coming in, helping us to whatever we need to get from this teaching that I'm going to share based on what he taught me. So with that, I'd like to all again welcome you to this beautiful space. Thank you. So just a quick, some of you may be new to Bhagavan Nityananda Parameswaram. He's the head of Kailasa sovereign state. It's a sovereign state of Hindus getting re-established, and he's presiding, he's the king of that whole civilization getting established. Just again with the objective of preserving the traditional practices with authenticity, without a lot of dilution that can happen over time. So that's really why he established this country. He's an avatar per the Hindu tradition. So with that, I would like to offer my prayers to him and we can start this session. So the topic I think we decided to talk about here was something called manifesting. Now it's kind of a counterintuitive. When a lot of us are seekers, right? We think manifesting is like, oh, why do I need this? We all try to get away from needing something, but then we are saying, oh, we need to manifest, science of manifestation. So it looks at the outset, it's materialistic. Oh, why should I do this? Why should I do that? The principle what Swamiji talks about here is manifesting is an idea that once somebody is fulfilled, how do one live a fulfilled, joyful life? If I'm able to, whatever the desire is, if I'm able to achieve it and live a happy life, so manifesting from the context of fulfillment. And a lot of times as you manifest life, we can start with, oh, I want this. Something could be silly, right? Or I want to become first in my class, or I need a promotion. Could be materialistic. But as you start manifesting, you start to slowly understand the fruitly, it's not going to, still you're going to achieve it, and then what happens? You're going to get into empty space again. So slowly the manifesting, as you journey through it, will take you to the ultimate desire of merging with divine, or becoming one with God, or any as any of the religions call it. Come and live a fulfilled life of joy and without suffering. That's kind of really the manifesting, science of manifesting takes you from one to the other to the other. So that's why, even though it looks counterintuitive, like I'm going to material, no, but it will eventually make into this path of God, or merger with God. That is really the kind of the foundation principle why this manifestation will be kind of articulated today. So one important thing, how do I manifest life? So I'm experiencing life. Nobody can deny, right? I'm in this beautiful space, a lot of beautiful people before me, right? This is the reality I'm experiencing right now, correct? And and all of us, we wake up in the morning, we get a cup of coffee, there's something's good happens, something that brings us joy, something that makes us angry, something that makes us this, something that helps us to meditate. If you look at all our lives, we're constantly manifesting. One thing we're doing is we are experiencing life, and in one way we are also manifesting it in some degree, right? That's all our experience. And as we go through that, there's happiness, joy, anger, the powerful and powerless experiences we constantly go through life. And that's kind of all of our life. You reflect back, and that's all we experience most of our life. Now the question is, in this framework, what Swamiji talks about is if you really reflect on what brings the happiness, right? It's not the same thing brings joy to everybody equally. That's not the case, right? Even though sometimes we may inherently believe, oh, I like this type of food, so somebody else also should like this type of food, right? That's generally the belief is, a lot of times, we think that people are more like us, but people are truly very varied in nature. I'll give a small example just to illustrate the point. Let's pretend Joe and Jim are two friends who grew up from childhood and as neighbors, and now they're like 25 years, right? And Joe had really a bad experience when he was a child, was chased by a dog, right? He was bitten by a dog. So he always grew up thinking dogs are bad, right? Dogs going to harm me. Whereas Jim always had a pet. He grew up in a different environment. Even though they're kind of neighbors, went to same school, but if you kind of introspect their belief systems about this example of a dog, both of them had completely polar opposite belief systems. And this is true for all of us. If you look around, people are partners, your son, your daughter, any relationship, people are going to have their own little ideas about what is good and bad for them. Everybody is unique in that sense. So if you kind of extrapolate this idea that, some person loves dog and other one is afraid of dogs. And let's say they're going for a walk in a park, a beautiful afternoon like this, and then there's a couple who's walking in front of them with the dog, right? Again, I'm saying manifesting life, context of I'm experiencing life. Both of them are walking and the couple is walking. Now, if you kind of put a camera inside Joe's inner space, right, he's going to look at it and say, oh my gosh, this is like a dog coming, anxiety, right? Should I step away? The whole thing is going to have a little bit of an anxious feeling as he's looking at the dog. As the couple is approaching him, he's going to have anxiety inside. The other guy, Jim, on the opposite side, he's going to look at the same scene. The scene is the same, and he's going to respond saying, oh my gosh, he's going to have this, I'm going to cuddle the dog, and he's going to be happy about it, right? So if you look at two people very born in very similar neighborhoods, went to the same school, very, very similar happening, could be siblings, could be parents, could be friends, but completely polar opposite response to a situation outside, right? And this is true for all. If you reflect on this, people around us all have these differences in opinions, and that's what makes everybody unique in their own way, right? In the science of manifestation, if you really understand, one person is stressed, one person is filled with love, right? But what causes this? If you kind of introspect a little bit or reflect, what is really different? The scene is not the same. The couple walking with the dog is absolutely nothing, no change there, right? Both of them are seeing the same dog, same couple, two dogs walking. But one person is filled with anxiety, one person is filled with love. If you reflect why the difference, then truly it is an experience Joe had as a child. He had a bad experience with the dog, and Jim had a good experience with the dog. So it's really, if you look at it from a past experience, a past memory, or a past idea, that Joe is reacting and Jim is also reacting. Do you all agree to this? Right? If we look at our life, we always are also living life that way. That's the framework Swamiji talks about. So even though we are experiencing life as it is happening now, but the way we choose to respond inside is always based from a past memory, experience, a belief system, what my mother told me, what my father told me, what is good, what is bad, what the teachers taught me, right? What I learned myself through my own experiences, right? So if you really look at this example, is dog good or bad? That's a fundamental question. And that's a fundamental question of life with all of us. The same situation, some people are anxious, some people are joyful, and each of us will fall in halfway between. Some people who like dogs, or some people are afraid of dogs. Some people who get, like for example, traffic, right? So somebody cuts you off in the traffic. It happens to us all the time in Southern California, right? And you see how people respond. Some people are mad, honking, gets really mad. We've seen that. And some people are, okay, he's in a rush, let him go. Again, two distinct responses, the same situation, right? So if you the idea here is life will keep happening to us, right? And all of us choose to, or all of us respond in a certain way, which we think is joy or which brings us suffering, period. And 100% of that response always comes from a past memory or conditioning. That's the first idea this talks about. So if I am anxious about a certain situation today, there's no true anxiety. The dog is neither good or bad. The guy cutting you traffic is good or bad, neither good or bad. There's no good or bad in reality. But the way I am responding to it makes me either joyful or makes me suffer. And if you really reflect on this, it always makes, where does the joy or suffering come from? Is from a past memory. That's really the first kind of the idea that this principle of manifestation talks about. I'll do the building blocks one by one, right? So the first idea is I am responding to life, my emotions are coming, my joy, my sorrow, everything is coming from past memories. That's kind of the first principle of it. Now we all don't have a problem being joyful, right? I love somebody treating me for a good lunch, having a good time, good laugh. None of us have an issue with that. Where the challenge comes is there a situation in life that makes us powerless. I'm going to use the word powerless. Powerless could be angry, envious, comparing, any emotions, right? At that situation I feel, oh my gosh, I feel like not good inside. Right? And that's kind of where we all are trying to strive away. Anything we try to do is get away from those moments of powerlessness or things that makes us powerless in life and change that to joy. Right? That's really the kind of the essence of it is remove the powerlessness from the life, everyday life. Now, if I'm always responding from my past memories and belief systems, right? So there's nothing really outside is truly powerless or powerful. I don't need to, the dog is neither good or bad. The guy cutting in the traffic is neither good or bad. How I choose to react or respond is where the power is. So if I can find a technique or a secret way to respond powerfully in every situation, including my own death, that's going to happen one day for everybody, then that is the ultimate powerfulness. The question is we are making a choice here. That's what, every moment we are making a choice either to be powerful or powerless. And the choice is being made by a past memory. A lot of times it just is a spontaneous reaction. We are not reflecting on how the reaction is coming here. Oh, this is good, Vegetarian food, non-vegetarian food, right? Meat, whatever. You look at all conflicts of life today is rooted in these people, past ideas or conditioning that people are fighting for or rooting for, right? Whereas if you understand this idea, there's truly nothing good or bad. How I respond to makes it good, how I respond to makes it bad. So if I don't want to suffer, if there's a way I can live life powerfully, meaning no suffering, then I just need to understand wherever I'm responding, reacting powerlessly, I just need to understand how the dots connect and see understand how the dots connect there. Correct? If I know why I'm reacting that way, then I'm empowered to change and react in a different way. Right? An example, if I find this room too cold, I am empowered to get out, turn the AC down. Right? So which means if I know how to fix it, right, how the AC is connected to the temperature in the room, if I understand how the dots connect, right, then if I am in a powerless situation, I know how to fix it. So the same example is, if I'm anxious about seeing a dog, if I'm anxious about getting in the dark, or if I'm anxious about meeting a certain person, could be your manager, could be your ex, whatever, right? If there's an anxiety inside, or somebody saying, hey, please come do a speech here, there's a party in my house, why don't you talk about a certain topic? A lot of us have those moments of anxiety come in our life. If we understand how the dots connect, why am I feeling anxious? What made me anxious right now? And if I know that means I know where this cold temperature is connected to the AC, right? And if I want to change it, I need to go and change the switch here, and that will make the room comfortable. That's empowerment, right? So the whole idea here is, if we understand why we are feeling powerless, the signs of how the reactions come, how we feel powerless, then we are empowered to change it. If anything else, the only people who can change it is us. Because all of it is coming from 100% of our individual experience of life. Not your twin brothers, not your sibling, not your father, not your mother. Who are close to a family, but everybody is unique in their experience. So that's really the first key takeaway is, anytime we react, we always are reacting from a past experience, or a past memory, or outcome of a past memory. And if there's one person in the whole world who wants to change it, it's us. We are absolutely empowered to change it, as long as we know how to go turn the switch on. The challenge is nobody tells how that this switch is here. And we try to go on fighting with your boss for a promotion, or with your partner for something. You do one-on-ones, your conflict resolution session with your kids, right? We keep on talking, try to fix the problem outside. But the truth is, I am reacting to the situation here. Some other parent may be reacting completely in an opposite way. Like we saw in the example of a traffic, somebody cutting us in a traffic, like in the case of a dog. Every life situation is, if you reflect, will have these two choices for all of us to respond to. One, we can get stressed, we can fume, fret, get stressed and blame others. Other is understand, oh, this is what is causing it, I'm empowered to change it. If I don't react this way, I can change it. Because it is my reaction to the situation, not nobody else is reacting that way. So that is kind of the second idea to this whole principle. Right? So we are empowered to change ourselves if we understand how the dots connect. Now, the core teaching here is, if we always are reacting from a past memory, past memories become incidents and cognitions, right? So we all label ourselves, I'm a good mother. If you look at, like, anybody asks, can you introduce yourself? They'll give my name, this and this. What else, right? Can you tell me 5 characteristic good and bad things about you? They're going to stick a label, I'm a good mom, terrible cook, great singer, bad in math, right? We all do that, right? If you really reflect, we are all a bunch of labels that we stuck because somebody told us that, right? Stuck because we believed in it somewhere down in our life. And if we walk around, if we really visualize ourselves, we are a bunch of about 30, 40 stickers in our body, and we are running life every day with 30, 40 stickers. And none of those 30, 40 stickers are true who you are. So,
Microphone's kind of gone bad.
okay, all right, sure,
Go ahead and take that off.
okay.
I think the battery's low, maybe that's.
Got it.
Something went wrong.
All right.
See if that works better.
Hello, is better?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. All right. So coming back to the discussion, right? So the whole idea is that any of the past memories becomes ideas, and we start to believe those ideas are stuck on us, and we start to respond life from that lens always, right? I'm a good mother, I'm a bad mother, cook, any idea. The central principle here is all ideas are false. The who you are, the true who you are, is none of that. So if you kind of reflect a child who's 1 year old, when we're all one day old, 1 month old, we didn't have any of these ideas that I carry now, the stickers I carry on myself. But I do carry them now. And somehow we've been told to believe that is me, that is stuck on me. And I have no empowerment, freedom to change it. So which means, if I have a terrible work relationship, terrible boss, I just need to blame my boss, continue with my life. I have bad health, I got to keep blaming the bad health and continue with my life. Keep just work, complaining life, point fingers outside, and continue to live life. And whatever sometimes makes us happy, sometimes it makes us sad, just keep moving go through the emotions. It's almost like you're thrown into a boat, into a river, and you have no control on how the river flows, where it hits. Sometimes it hits overnight, it hits a rock, sometimes it goes under the water. So you're just absolutely powerless, screaming, shouting in the boat. That's what predominantly most societies teach us as a way of life, how to respond life. But what the principle here, Swamiji's teaching, which is from Sanatana Hindu Dharma, says is, it's not, the world is not happening there and I am forced to respond to the world. That is not how the world is created. The world is actually created here first, and then it is manifested outside. That is the central power of this teaching here. So which means, if I am experiencing something right now, good, bad, ugly, first the slide has been put inside. So it's like pretend we all see in a movie projector, right? So the film comes and you see the movie outside. So this is the movie outside. Normally we were told that this is all happening and I need to respond, I have no control. But the teaching from Shiva Agama here is that first you put this slide here and then it manifests outside. Now this is connecting the dots in this framework, right? If we know how I'm then putting my film here, if I'm kind of seeing a tiger, I'm not happy about it, and I want to see let's say a lotus flower, which I like to see, then I don't need to go fight with the tiger or run away from the tiger or I'm just tiger as a situation in life, as an analogy, right? It could be a manager, boss, kids, any of spouse, any of that, right? We don't need to fight there. If I understand the science of this connecting the dots, I just change the film inside. So I take the tiger picture out and put the picture of lotus flower, and it's all work inside, done inside. So this is the power of the central idea of empowerment. So it's truly, if anything else, it's a technique to empower oneself with this understanding that first we create it inside and then it gets projected outside. Now the next question on this principle is, how did I put this tiger first? Right? Or how did I put the lotus first? Because life is happening constantly. So how did I decide to create this tiger or a lotus, which I'm putting it in, but I'm not understanding how it is happening, right? So I'm just seeing this, I'm reacting. So how is that science? How is that manifestation happen? That's kind of where the manifestation science comes in. So the Shiva Agama talks about you manifest what you cognize, not what you desire. Right? When you say cognition is whom you think, whom you are in the, like these labels I talked about. Right? So whatever my cognition about me, that's what I manifest. So if I am firmly convinced that I'm going to be terrible in business, I'll never make money, as an example, that's an identity, right? That's been stuck on me. Same thing as I'm a good mother, bad mother, I'm good at this, bad. Any of those identities, which are what I believe when I respond to life today. What we manifest is what you believe or cognize in, not necessarily what I desire. As an example, if I believe, I'm sick person, like I'm really unwell, right? That's my cognition, right? I could be doing 100 things, still I will manifest an unhealthy body, mind experience to myself, as an example. So even though my actions and desire is to heal and become better, but if I truly believe, if the lens I put here is sickness, right? An example, the question is, why would somebody believe they are sick? Great examples. Your father had diabetes, your father had a heart attack, right? So you're gonna get it. A simple idea. So then I'm going to now be thinking all the time, oh my gosh, I got to not get heart attack. I cannot get diabetes. So I'm going to run around trying to avoid heart attack and diabetes, which means I'm afraid of it. I believe that I'm going to get it because somebody told me that, and I chose to believe it. And what Swamiji says is, you're going to manifest the diabetes or the heart attack, even though you can be walking, doing everything to prevent it. But if you decided, I'm going to get it because my father got it, then you're done. You're going to get it. The same thing applicable to any dimension of life. Oh, I'm unworthy of love, right? I'm bad luck with relationships. If that's the label we stuck on ourselves, we can change partners, but we're going to constantly, the life is going to constantly attract attract partners who will come and tell you you're unlucky with them. So this is what Swamiji calls as patterns. We all have patterns. This is an example, I'm unlucky with this. The identity can be mental thought patterns, right? So if you look at it, when you think about it, if I think I'm poor or afraid of becoming poor, I'm going to think about like insecure, how do I keep wealth, what do I do this? Out of 10 thoughts, 4 thoughts is going to be about money, wealth. If I believe, I'm going to be unhealthy, right? If that's kind of my cognition, that's what I'm most afraid of, then out of 10 thoughts, I'm going to worry about 6 thoughts, how to become healthy. So if I'm spending time without changing the cognition, right, without understanding this truth, right, if I'm going to try to manifest health, manifest relationships, any of that I'm trying to manifest, but if the conclusion or the identity I'm carrying myself is I cannot have it, then I'm going to manifest that outside. And this also includes joy, enlightenment, any of that science. It could be anything very, very tangible like my next meal, or it could be anything like as big as samadhi or enlightenment or peace or joy all the time. It could, the desire to manifest can be anything, but if I have an idea or a cognition that denies me from that, then what I manifest will be that. So that is really the essence of what Swamiji talks about is one manifest the cognition, not desires. And if you understand this, the next question is how do I understand what cognition, I'm experiencing life, how do I understand, connect the dots between what my cognition is and how do I change it, right? I'm seeing a tiger, how do I change it to something else? That's the next question. So that is where the science of completion or Purnatva, the technique from Shiva Agama, Swamiji talks about in this context, is it's a beautiful technique. The essence of the technique is, if, for example, if there is a repeated pattern in life, right? I feel disrespected, I feel not loved, I feel poor, I feel unhealthy, whatever, anything. We all, if you introspect, we're going to have some thought currents that are predominant, kind of, I will call it worrying us, right? So that case, you kind of look at how did you start catching that? Is there an incident from the past that led you to believe this? As an example, diabetes, right? I believe I'm going to get diabetes. I've been trying to get things, but I'm going to get diabetes. So where did the belief come from? Just introspect on that. Oh, somebody told me because my father had it, I'm going to get it. But my father's brother did not have diabetes. If you really respect, always there's a counter to that. My father had diabetes, but his brother did not have diabetes. They are in the same gene pool. So why would, it's the same way I can also not have diabetes. So the idea that I'm going to get diabetes is an idea I bought. I put a label on myself. So if I want to change that, I just need to change that idea or complete with that idea. Just have that understanding that's truly not me. I'm not going to get diabetes, or I'm not going, any negating idea that we have that is limiting today our ability to experience life and joy. That idea, if you go back and reflect into it, you see it is again somebody told, he said so, she said so. There's no truth in it. You are not that. It just you started believing that idea has been put on you so long, so many years back. I started almost believe that is what I am today, and I'm going to experience that today. So this is really the idea of completion: is go back and look into the incidents or where you got that seed, that idea thrown into you. Somebody told a life experience, like we saw in this example. Somebody bitten by a dog. He thinks dogs are bad, right? And we had somebody in the temple. This dog example. So he came to this class and we started talking about dogs. He said he was always chased by dogs all his life. He was bitten by a dog as a kid, and for a long time in life, wherever he goes, he was chased by dogs. Right? Till he understood this, because I am afraid of dogs. Whenever I step out in the dark, I'm looking for a dog and I manifest a dog. Right? And this is exactly how. And once he came to this class, he understood this. He started completing. It's about 3 years. He says no more he sees dogs. Right? So this is the power of this idea. Right? Anything that we're struggling with life to change, right? Then look in. It's always coming from a sticker that we put on ourselves, which is not truly us. So once you have that understanding, then you flip it around. Because it's not me anymore, right? It's just an idea I'm going to get diabetes. It's not truth. So once you have the click, then the outside will miraculously change. That is the power of this idea. So a lot of times we put effort to change life, and the effort is on the outside. If we don't, but the movie we're playing is here. We put the film here, and that manifests outside. If you understand this, then you look at how to change this. So this is really the central idea here. Hi, welcome. Hey. So this is really the central idea. I just wanted to share. This is the part of the central teaching, and this could be manifesting anything that we want. Including, the whole idea is, anything that makes us powerless in life, you can use this principle and change it. And the expectation is play around with the idea like a scientist, right? And see for yourself if it can help or not. Because a lot of us who have played around, my life changed with this, understanding this. And if I were to look at one technique I did in my life, I'm calling this a technique, is applying this understanding. When things make me powerless, anything I want to change, again, we don't need to be judgmental about it as materialistic, spiritual. That's not the idea here. Because if I am hungry right now, I can attempt to meditate all I want, but somebody giving me a good meal will make me happy at this moment. So that is where this is applicable. This doesn't have any judgment on, oh, you got to manifest only God, request or desire God. That's not even the principle here. Whatever one wants to do right now, if you can fulfill it, then if you can manifest it, then one feels fulfilled. And from that fulfillment will come another fulfillment. So that is the central idea here. So you can try to manifest anything you're struggling with today, you can play around with this idea. Right? So with that, and that's the central idea. I'd like to open it for questions, any comments. Anybody thinks this is any of that? Yes, please.
Can I share an experience?
Sorry?
Can I present an experience I had? I had an experience. When I was-
Let me get you a microphone.
Yeah, do you want to use the microphone?
Check.
Okay, good. Perfect, thank you.
Yes, when I was about 4 years old, I was bitten by a black widow. And of course, as a child, I didn't know how to react to it. I just felt flying with the venom inside. And well, to make the story short, they took me to the hospital and they put rattlesnake, balance or contrast the effect of the venom of the spider. So I've been out of my mind for a couple of, I don't know how many days, but anyway. Yes, because, I was not recognizing anybody, my mother, my brother, nothing.
Wow.
I was in somewhere else, but anyway. I don't have aversion to spiders. I don't have hate to spiders. I don't even kill them. And I've been observing myself because I have aversion to other things. You know, like you mentioned,
Correct.
that the sticks, they have stickers. But to the spider, I don't have it. And it nearly kills me. Or maybe it kills me, I don't know. But anyway, how can you explain that? So, according to the principle you manifest, is we insert the experience inside, or can be from fear, or can be from love.
Correct.
Yeah, in this case, it should be of fear, but I didn't do that. Maybe bypass all my cognitions. I don't know how it was. Can you say something about
Yeah,
that?
it's a great question. See, a lot of times if you reflect, right, the whole, how we pick and choose the identity on us is absolutely an accident. We pick and choose some, not necessarily the biggest impact, right? Biggest impact as we see it today, right? So that is the whole idea. Sometimes, like you said, you have some of that. Some of them could be very small. In fact, when we talk to people on this, sometimes the smallest, like a mother yelling at the child, is more impactful on the identity of the child than like something like as life-threatening as you just said. So the kid, however, picks up is very random. But the irony of this is, it's an accidental, random pick the kid did. It's like, I have a box and I just picked a card, right, of life. And it influences my life all my life. Just the decision, an accidental decision for the kid to pick up something and stick it, continues, now it's 40 years, 50 years, 60 years, continues to impact life because they're going to manifest life from that identity constantly. So that's that. So it doesn't need to be the biggest incident, but sometimes very small incidents impact us.
Right. Yeah. Yes, it's true. Another thing is like they shouting on my father. I was afraid.
Yeah, there you go.
It just to think about my father was like.
Exactly. So that's why. So it's not always the biggest incident. That's the irony of it. If you really kind of play around with this idea, a lot of times one will see the biggest, the blockers we put on ourselves, the heaviest are the very simplest accidental interactions of life.
Right.
So, great question. Thank you.
Swami, I really enjoyed your talk. I've never heard it explained so clearly, and I totally got, in a new way, a higher understanding of manifesting. I thank you so much for that beautiful.
Thank you.
And I just wanted to add to it that when we're aware of something, like sometimes we are unaware, and it's like we don't even know that we're doing it. But when we become aware, a light comes within the aura. All of a sudden, a raise in frequency, something, they get it. You see it for the first time. You understand, like when I was hearing how it's inside me and then I project it outside. A light comes within the soul and the consciousness. A wisdom goes into the causal body and it's stored there. It's a beautiful understanding. I would just like to ask you about the teachings, like when we are working with an issue, like we're afraid of the dogs, to transmute it, to release it, to return back to the neutral state of manifesting what we want. Is there mantras for that? Is there meditations for that the Swamiji teaches? Could you speak to that?
Sure, thank you. It's a great question. So there are two levels the way we can flip this. Like he said, just have an understanding and do it. One is just this understanding that I'm projecting it, so I'm empowered to change it. Just a simple understanding. I can fight life, I can blame people all I want, but if I need to really want to make a change, it's inside. That's a simple understanding. So that's the kind of the truth. Second is, from a technique point of view, what Swamiji says is these are all stored in our all these are memories, right? Stored in this 4 or 5 feet, 6 feet body we have. The whole ecosystem has all of them stored in nervous system. What Swamiji calls as muscle memory and biomemory, right? And the analogy he gives is, see, the incident themselves are not good or bad, right? Like example, the one incident impacted somebody, father saying something impacted us. But what we do is we capture the image, the video inside, and we associate memory to it, good, bad, ugly to it, right? What Swami says is if you disassociate the memory from the event, then it loses power over you. That's the principle of it, right? Now the question is what's a technique to release that memory? So Swami says one of the very powerful techniques is that if you remember the incident, you relive that incident 5 times, 5, 6 times, not remember, but relive. So become the 3-year-old boy or a 4-year-old boy or a 13-year-old boy whenever that incident happened, and go through and understand, it all happened, and then you relive it 4 or 5 times. So then what happens is the emotional load on the nervous system, that wherever you're carrying that memory, gets released. And as you release it, revisit the cognition the label you stuck on because of that. So for example, if I've seen somebody, whose mother, the child did something wrong, right? Did a mischief. So there are 4 or 5 siblings in the house. So the child did something wrong, and then the mother punished the child by saying, okay, she's feeding all the other children. She's saying, I'm not going to feed you now, right? Wait, time out, right? That's what the mother does. The child did something mischievous, and the mother is saying, I'm going to feed the others, you got a timeout, you got to wait. It's a very simple transaction. We give timeout if you have children. If we've been children, we've been given timeouts, we give timeouts, happens all the time. But the way the child specifically decided to cognize is, my mother doesn't love me. That just random, that incident. She's been scolded before, hit by her mother before, later. But that incident she picked up and says, oh, my mother doesn't like me, or love me. Right? And this cognition she went through all her life. So in this example, the reliving process is, you go through, become the child and visualize, okay, I'm sitting there, how I felt, my mother is not looking at me, I want food, I'm hungry, whatever the emotion that child goes through, you relive that relieves the pain of the memory from the system, and then you cognize, my mother does love me. Because it's my understanding, I felt my mother doesn't love me, but the reality is, the mother always loved me through the life. That lady is now, in her 50s, 60s, when she shared this with us, right? She said when she reflected her life, her mother was very loving to her all along. She never had a problem with her mother. Absolute love the mother gave to her. But somewhere, one idea she inserted, without knowing this truth, struggled her life. She had a lot of struggle finding trusted partners, relationships, everywhere. Because she just concluded, my mother doesn't like me, I'm not worthy of love. That's a label she put, I am not worthy of love. And then constantly she attracted people who will come and tell she is not worthy of the love. So that's an example. So you relive it a few times and then go back and recognize the label you put, you take it away. That will help to relieve it. Then it becomes just a memory but no emotional attachment. It's still there. But you don't respond to life with the same intensity when that happens. Did that answer the question?
Yes, thank
Okay,
you.
Great, thank you. Go ahead.
I had a similar situation like yours. I love dogs. Everyone knows it. I get one in 2 weeks. But as a kid, I was attacked by a German Shepherd. And that didn't have any effect on me because I don't have kids, but I have 2 dogs, and I would die for them. But there's other situations that have happened where I'm like deathly scared of the toaster because also as a kid, I put a knife in it to get the toast out and got electrocuted. And to this day, don't ask me to make you toast. So, after being attacked, I still remember what I was wearing. I still remember how he jumped on me, tore my sweater, almost got my face. And I still went back to my friend's house and played with a dog. And now I work with dogs.
The same thing. You just picked up the toaster over the dog. Even though logic says I'll pick up the dog over the toaster. And that's why I'm saying it's absolutely an illogical process. That's why if you just reflect, I hear so many of these such very small, trivial things that you will not even acknowledge in life will sit inside as an identity. And something as massive as both of you spoke, just won't touch us. And it's just there's no logic to it. And that's the irony of this life. Sometimes we just pick something so illogical and it continues to haunt our life all life. And I can share my example, so many things like that, very simple things. I don't think I would have attached any importance to it. When I started internalizing, going through this understanding, find so many things that I never would have written down as impactful in my life. But I did pick and put it on myself and started to live life through those lens. That's how I saw that. Great.
I love hearing you say this little illogical thing because I think that's the way that you need to address it. That, it's just this illogical, it's not this big, massive thing that a big label, right? It's illogical. And so illogical is easier to deal with, I think, in that that capacity, the way that you frame it. So that really resonates with me. So, yeah, thank you. That's really powerful.
Actually, what you said is really a good call out. See, a lot of times, if you exactly cognize, it just is illogical and you're more powerful. We are always more powerful than that. If I am getting afraid, right, I am getting afraid. The consciousness is more powerful than anything else outside. But we empower the outside more. And once you flip it, exactly, you won't even recognize it. And that itself, once you flip it, that itself is the process. That's understanding, that click. Then that's it.
Just click on the, oh, there you go.
That's it.
Right. You don't empower it because it's just illogical. However you picked it up in the first place.
Right.
Like, I don't remember picking this up, so I can just get rid of it.
Get rid of it, exactly.
It's effortless. It should be effortless. So, in science, right?
Yep.
So,
Can I press it a little bit further?
Sure.
Okay. To me, it's very clear the principle of we put them inside, and from there we react. Actually, from there we project. And we can create or destroy with it. Coming from different emotion, like being loving emotion or being fearful emotion. Feel threatened or feeling welcome. All right. My experience with nature, I don't know nature cognitively to say, oh, this I can expect a tiger from there or a monkey from there, or to read the language of the environment. But yet, when I'm in nature, it's like something make me turn to the right, to the left, or turn to the right, or look back. Do you understand what I mean? There is something which is pushing my buttons. Did I put that myself? Or how I introduce that myself? Or what is the dynamic at play?
It's a great question. I'll give some more examples of that, right? There are people are afraid of things illogically. Like some are afraid of, like you should be afraid of spiders, you're not. But I know people who look at a spider and jump on a chair, right? And these are people who are like 5 feet, 6 feet tall, 250-pound adults today, right? The same thing with, I know people who are really afraid of dogs. There's a small dog comes, this guy will jump on a chair, right? And he's a big guy, right? And there's no way the dog can attack him, right? What Swamiji says is that a lot of times the memories that we carry, again, based on which framework of philosophy you comes from. In the Hindu philosophy, we also carry the last birth's memories into this body, right? That's the framework of it. So sometimes we may not remember that. It can be from your past birth. So that the birth, in the Hindu philosophy, the idea of past birth is there, right? But other philosophies don't have it. But essentially the principle says it is always from this somewhere happening in this 5 feet, 6 feet body. And this technique will help it. That's it. So you may not understand why you picked it, but as long as you know that this is something I picked, and then complete with it, right? Using either reliving or then you will just not have the problem. Right. So you may not know how it happened, but you still, the technique, like I have dirt, I don't recall how I got this dirt on the shirt, but if I can wash it and dry clean it, the dirt goes away. That's all matters.
Right. But one of the things that might pull my attention to it is that I don't, when that's happen, let's say in nature, right? My system accepted. It's not fighting it. I'm not becoming paranoia. Ooh, what is this or what is that? It is or that. I don't have that. But yet there is an acceptance in me that allow me to experience the moment. I've been having it several times with Dennis when we do hikes. We never done it after that, but anyway, there is a language, or there is a guidance. And then if we go from the principle that we have the buttons here, so what kind of buttons are activated? What is it that are steering us in that direction?
Understand.
Yeah.
So there are two ways to look at it, right? Life presses a lot of buttons in us, right? Some buttons, like you said, doesn't bother, right? Some buttons bothers us, right?
Yeah.
So if it doesn't bother, or if it's neutral, or if it's happy, we don't need to worry too much about it. We are good with that. The framework says wherever you become powerless in any situation, which you don't like it, I don't want to be like this. I don't want to feel like a victim. I don't want to be jealous. I don't want to be angry here. Wherever that powerlessness comes, work on those labels, right? And even some of those labels you may not remember, like exactly you're not able to relate why in a nature you feel that way. Some of them you won't be able to, even situation that makes you angry, push the wrong buttons. You may not remember how the label got on. So what Swami says is the technique itself is very intelligent. It is just not mental process, it is intelligence. So if you start introspecting, right, I'm afraid of, let's say I'm afraid of this nature, if it's not bothering you right now, but if it becomes bothering as a big problem you want to solve, then you can go back and introspect. When is the first time when I experienced it? When I was 3 years, I went with my dad. Well, I didn't feel any of that. So if you kind of go down the path, somewhere you will be able to identify where you started picking up this thread, right? Yeah. And if you get introspect, is very powerful, this technique. It will reveal the memory to yourself. You may not even remember. Suddenly, like a picture will come inside about something that happened in your life. And some of us have been doing it. It'll reveal itself. You are just putting the flashlight inside and trying to look. But once the light is shown inside, you will see, it will reveal what was the cause. The light will reveal itself. It's not an effort from your side. All we need to do is put the flashlight from outside, put it towards you, and then look. And I may not remember it, I may not recall it. Suddenly, oh my gosh, I'm remembering that incident with Dennis when I was 6 years. Out of the blue, it will just show up. That is how this idea works. It's not, how it reveals is not logic. All you just put the light and just introspect.
Right.
It will show itself. Even you can try with this nature idea, play with the idea, right? Just sit and say, when did I start picking it up? And just introspect. Suddenly, some memories will start popping up.
Right.
And that will lead, one memory will lead to the other. Then you will kind of understand the dot.
Yeah, exactly. I understand. It's from here to there,
Correct.
not there to here. Yeah. One, somebody?
Well, this has been a very interesting discussion. I personally feel that our past embodiments are very much influence our lives, and and come up with phobias and things that people come up with. But as you become more aware, you can get to the core of them. Or do you have anything in your I don't know what to call it, religion, to a means of praying? People can pray to transmute their sins, transmute their past embodiments, transmute their phobias, and then you're just free, is kind of the way I work. But do you guys have something like that?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Great question. So this is self-effort, right? The science is teaching, but some of the memories are so tough. We may not, I may try it 100 times, but the trauma is so high, right? It's not impossible. It's almost impossible to get out of it. Always the divine, asking for divine help or prayer is part of the process. And that's why the Guru is a very important part in our life. That's when I started, I prayed to him. The first thing I did was pray to him. So that is actually the undercurrent method that so prevalent. It's an undercurrent. That's a foundation on which all the other techniques reside. I'll also put it that way. It's so undercurrent, the power of prayer. Because I can only do so much, then I just need help, and the help comes. And that is always very powerful. Personal experience, prayer does miracles. And that's kind of, in Hinduism, that is a very central part of it. We actually use the word bhakti. That's a word that's used, bhakti. Bhakti is love. So you look at the divine as a mother, like we spoke a few minutes back, as not somebody who's abstract, I need to be afraid, but somebody who's going to love and take care of me. That's the relationship Hinduism says you need to form with your guru, God, however the higher force you want to name it, call it consciousness, call it God, call it nature, give it any name. But the relationship one needs to form is like a mother, one of love, one of trust, one, I will not be judged. I will always be supported, right? I mean, I can make a mistake, come home, my mother will still feed me, right? That is the relationship one we need to have with God or the higher power. Then that opens up the world, another dimension of life in us. That's how the Hinduism looks at it. So it is very integral part of Hinduism.
Well, if you study the principles of unity, you are one with God already. And if you can set that and love yourselves and let go of the other stuff, there you are.
Spot on. Problem solved. Great question. Thank you. Great comment too. Any other questions? Wrap up. If no questions, we'll end with a small prayer. Thank you. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purna Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamataya Purnameva Vasishtate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Sat Bhagavan Shri Nityananda Paramashivam Padagarpanamastu. Om Nityanandam. Thank you all. Thank you, Dennis.
We have some snacks, please stay and enjoy and fellowship. Thank you so much, Swami, for coming. I feel brighter because I know, and I feel empowered too because we can always change, right? Thank you, Tatiana, for arranging this and inviting. It's beautiful. Thank you, Swamiji, for coming. I came around the corner and I thought I saw his eyes twinkling at me. So the divine presence was here. I just want to let everybody know on the broadcast that Kalasi USA has a temple in Montclair. Beautiful temple with many amazing murtis and so many people holding that divine space in that temple, doing the pujas and keeping that love energy moving and blessing all of Los Angeles, the city of the angels. Many angels. And I want to say the food is really good there too. So, God bless you everyone on the broadcast. We're going to sign off and I'm going to get the watermelon out and a few other things. And we'll be broadcasting again tomorrow for the Divine Mother Worship Service at 7:30. Come early if you can, to just be in the space. Good night and God bless you all.
All participants today from this book written by Nityananda Paramashiva, Enlightened Master, Avatar, 1008 Avatar of Paramashiva. Very rare avatar on planet Earth right now, so his book is not for sale, so that's why we brought from our temple, and we would like to give to all of you, okay? Thank you.
Thank you, Tatiana.